Have you ever been in a room with a guy you're interested in, hoping that he would approach you? Doesn't it get so frustrating though when you feel like no matter what it is you do, he still doesn't get the hint and just say hello? Well, what if I told you there's actually a secret formula to making a man feel like approaching you is the easiest decision he'll make all day? Which is exactly why on today's show, we're going to be discussing the full guide to getting a guy to approach you. That way, not only will he notice you, but you'll create an environment that will make approaching you almost impossible not to do. For point number one, we're going to talk about helping him. What I want you to help him with is specifically the idea that you have to know for men, they also have their own fears. Even though we're supposed to be manly, masculine men, and back in the day, we would hunt animals down and bring them back to you. We are a little bit soft in some ways as well. We have our own anxieties and fears as well. You as a woman are one of those anxieties and fears. Why? Because we do want to approach you. We do want to come up to you. We do want to ask for your number. But at the same time, we also don't want to feel rejected. Even though it sounds very silly, in our minds, we're worried that if we approach you and when we finally approach you, we're like, hey, I think you're cute. I'd love to get your number, that your response will be, ew, you're ugly. Even though it sounds really irrational because you're probably thinking, why would anyone be that rude and mean? In our minds, we're thinking that's like the nightmare. That's like the worst case scenario. I might go up to her. She might tell me I'm ugly. She might even say, you're broke. She might overall humiliate me. So I know all of these are very irrational fears, but just like you have your own irrational fears, us as men, we have our own irrational fears as well. So there's certain things that even though they don't make sense because you're thinking, I'm not that mean, I'm not that nasty, even if I didn't like a guy, I would never reject him in a way that's humiliating. That is one of the fears in our minds. And that can become one of the roadblocks that stop us from actually approaching you. So the reason that I titled this first point about helping him is because I want you to start creating an environment with the understanding of some of our already existing fears and anxieties to make the process of us approaching you a lot easier because we can eliminate these fears and anxieties. So the strategy is going to consist of basically reading a man's mind and the type of things he'll be saying to himself, the type of questions he'll be asking himself, and the way that you can answer those questions in a way that will make him confident that when I go up to her, she's not going to be like, ew, you're ugly, you're disgusting, and humiliate him and make him feel horrible for approaching you. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. We're trying to help the man not feel like you're going to humiliate him when he finally comes up to ask for your number. Even though I know it's an irrational fear, trust me, it is a fear of men. For point number two, we're going to be discussing the billboard. I'm going to give you two different facial expressions from your own perspective. Imagine we're at some sort of event, okay? And you're seeing my face from your own perspective. I want you to tell me which facial expression will feel more inviting to you. Either it's going to be face number one or it's going to be face number two. So when I give you both faces, you need to tell me which one makes you feel more invited to come to me and talk to me and have a conversation with me, okay? This is face number one. See how you feel about that? Now, I'm gonna do face number two. Which face of those two faces made you feel more invited to come up to me and have a conversation with me? I want to ask you guys a question after that question. Why does face number two make you feel more invited to talk to me versus face number one? This is a perfect example of micro expressions, okay? So a lot of you said face number two was intimidating in the sense that like, didn't really look like you wanted to be here. Didn't really look like you were enjoying your time. Someone said RBF. RBF stands for resting B face, okay? B just stands for B word, like the B word that you don't want to be called by a guy. Some of you might have a natural existing RBF. Other people just said overall, it's just less inviting. And what were some of the things that people said about face number two? Looks more curious, looks more sweet, you look happy to be here. Now, the reason that I called these micro expressions is because my face isn't really that different. It's not necessarily the difference between a frown, complete despair and sadness, and complete joy over the moon, I'm laughing, I'm giggling. It's like a micro expression change, just in like the way my eyes are sitting, in the way my mouth is sitting, and the way that it kind of communicates a different different emotion to you. The reason I want to bring this up is because your face is like a billboard for your emotions, your feelings, and your energy. So the same way that you're taking and calculating a whole bunch of information on my face to make a determination of whether or not I would be an inviting person to talk to is the same thing that men are doing when they're thinking about approaching you. So if you're able to kind of like calculate that and determine the difference between one that's more intimidating and one that's less intimidating, then we have to also recognize that within us, we have to be aware of our billboard and make it so that if we want to be inviting and getting approached by men, that our billboard is sending the message that, hey, we're sweet, we're able to be approached, we're happy, we're feeling good, we're happy to be here. Now, obviously, not every time you're out somewhere, you're going to be necessarily happy to be there. I'm not saying you can't have emotions, but I just want you to understand how this billboard is affecting men's processing of emotions. Because like we talked about in point number 1, we're trying to help him. So he's asking himself questions. He's like, should I approach her? How is she feeling right now? What are my chances of getting rejected or getting humiliated versus what are my chances of her giving me her number or her inviting me in or her wanting to speak to me? All of these things he's calculating before he even approaches you. So when we take care of the billboard properly, it's just adjusting your face and understanding right now, do you have a natural RBF? And what does it feel like on your face when you're not having an RBF? And so when you're practicing in the mirror and you're getting a better understanding and a feel, when you go out, I want you to be self-aware of like, what am I projecting outwardly, right? Am I looking like I hate being here and don't want to be here? That's probably going to affect men's desire to come and approach me because my billboard is saying something very, very different. And so having that self-awareness and control over that when you go out will definitely change the amount and percentage in which you're getting approached. For point number 3, we're going to discuss friends. Friends are great, but they can also be bad in certain situations. Let me explain what I mean by that, okay? I'm gonna draw out what we can describe here as a bar. If you went out somewhere and you saw yourself a group of 4 or 5 pretty girls versus seeing a group of 1 pretty girl just sitting at the bar by herself, which one would be less intimidating to you? The group of 4 or 5 pretty girls going up to them and just striking a conversation with them, or 1 pretty girl that's just sitting at the bar drinking a drink by herself, looking like she's just enjoying her time? Because these are the same things that he's calculating in his mind when he's thinking about the possibility of experiencing rejection or humiliation in the process of approaching you. When you go out with your girlfriends, even though they bring you a lot of joy and a lot of comfort in being around them, which is good, I want that for you, you also have to understand in certain instances, especially as it relates to a man approaching you, that can actually be intimidating even to a man, because he's thinking, well, when I go up to her, what if she likes me, but all her other girls say, oh, he's ugly, he's nasty, or they pull her away, or they say, don't talk to her, or they say, my friend doesn't want to talk to you, or whatever the case may be. He's also calculating all of those possibilities in his head, whereas hypothetically, you were over here instead, just chilling by the bar. All of a sudden, you become a lot less intimidating to that same guy, and the possibility of him approaching you increases because he's not so worried about what your other friends here might say to him. I'm not saying that you go out by yourself and don't be around your girlfriends ever, but what I'm saying is if you identify a guy that you find interesting in that club, in that bar, in that event, in that whatever, take some moments to separate yourself from the group in a way that will allow him to actually feel invited to approach you without having to be intimidated by the group of people you're around. It doesn't have to be all the time, but just take your chances and opportunities throughout the time that you're at this event, at this club, at this bar, at this party, whatever, at the gym, wherever it is, so that he can have a chance to actually approach you. That can come when you go and you grab some water at the bar and you just sit there a little bit for a couple of minutes by yourself. That can come if you're at the gym and you go on a different machine than your friend for a little bit, or you're going to the bathroom and you're walking past him. All of these different opportunities you can take to kind of separate yourself from the group and give him the chance to kind of pull you away and have a conversation with you in a way that is much less intimidating. For point number 4, this one is going to be about eyes. Eyes, they always say, are the window to the soul. And it's very important to make sure that your eyes are telling the same story as your body language, as your billboard, which is your face, and as your overall energy. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been somewhere before, whether a club, event, a bar, the gym, the grocery store, and you've had a guy or a girl looking at you and you're wondering to yourself, wait a second, was that look for me? Or were they looking past me? Or were they looking at a friend? The reason I ask this question is because this is a perfect example of the analyzing and processing of information that men are doing when you're looking at them, or when you're using your looking at them to basically invite them into approaching you. That first look is really not a look. It really is a question. And the question is, was she looking at me? The reason I'm talking about eyes and the looking process is because I don't want you to make the mistake of thinking that looking at a guy one time is enough for you to communicate, hey, I want you to come up to me. Because sometimes you might see the guy that you're actually interested in and you think is cute and you want to approach you, but you're nervous. And so because you're nervous, you barely ever look at him. And so when you walk by him one time, you like glance his way like 1 second, and you like look over for 1 second, and then you look away, and then you go back to your girl, oh my gosh, I gave him all the signals in the world. How much do I have to do? Do I have to spread my legs wide open and say, come penetrate me? I gave him all the he doesn't know. That first look is not really a look. Even when you do look, even when you do connect eyes, he walks away from that first look asking himself, was she actually looking at me, or am I tripping? Maybe she was looking at someone behind me. It's always going to be a question. We want to make sure that we're looking more than once. That second look is going to really consist of, I think she was looking at me. I'm not sure, because we had one look that we shared together the first time. That was a question mark. But this time, I feel like there's that same person that might have been behind me is not behind me anymore. So it couldn't be them. And this is where I'm actually taking you through the process of how men will be thinking. So it couldn't be the friend behind me. Was something going on behind? No, it can't be that. And he's thinking, well, she looked this way twice. And there's kind of a different background. No, I think it was me. So now this is where you kind of set it in stone for him, and you confirm what he's kind of debating in his own mind. And this should be like nothing too crazy in terms of the intervals. It doesn't need to be 30 seconds in between. You need to give him some time to ponder on what is going on here and process this information. But you also don't want it to be too long in between that he doesn't realize that the frequency is you trying to send him a message. So an average of 5-6 minutes maybe in between these looks, okay? Or maybe even a little bit more frequent, like 2 to 3, but you don't need to do anything more than that. Enough for him to process the information, think about it, and then ask himself, okay, no, that look was definitely for me. Because by the time we get to the third look, we want him to be absolutely 100% sure she was looking at me. There's no doubt in my mind, because at this point, I done changed seats, I done changed positions, I'm in a different part of the room, and somehow her eyes still connected to me and we still shared a look, okay? I know some of you are thinking, Tomisin, this is so excessive. I have to give a guy 3 looks just before he knows that I want him to approach me? Yes. Because remember what we talked about at the beginning of the show in helping him? He's having all of these questions in his mind. I hope if I approach her, I'm not going to get humiliated. I hope if I approach her, she's not going to say I'm ugly, broke, and disgusting and deny me. So he's constantly battling with himself of what are the chances that she'll actually want me to approach her? What are the chances that if I have a conversation with her, she'll actually be interested in me as well? So we want to eliminate all of this debate in his mind. 1 look is not enough. Even 2 looks is not enough. We need to be going to the 3+ area. We should be looking at him so much that there should be no doubt in his mind that you are looking in his direction. Now, we don't want to overdo it. If you're looking at him 18 times and he still don't get the hint, then just leave it. But we want it to be enough where he knows for sure, you're looking at him. For point number 5, we're going to discuss the phone. The phone is a great tool, but it can also lead to your downfall. Because especially when we're talking about men approaching you, we have to acknowledge how men will be taking in information. When you're looking down at your phone, you're scrolling on Instagram, okay? Looking at pictures, looking at people who've liked your pictures, looking at your DMs because everyone wants to DM you. This creates a thought within a man's mind. You would rather be somewhere else than be here. Even if that's not the case, this is how he's interpreting that information. The reason I drew this visual out here is because whenever you go to an event, whenever you go to wherever it is that you go and you're in a room, a group of people, you're there in person with them in this environment and you're connected to them, all the people that are in this room. As soon as you get on your phone, you're essentially isolating yourself from this environment and saying, I'm taking myself out of this world and connecting with all of you people, and I'm connecting in a different world. The reason I kind of want to emphasize that for you is because I want you to be aware of what's happening in a man's mind when you're there on that phone. Because as you're scrolling on that phone and this guy's looking at you, he's thinking, maybe I shouldn't approach her, because if I approach her, she's probably gonna think, I don't really want to talk to this guy. I have other things to do. I have other places to be. This is pretty boring. This is pretty uninteresting, whatever. And so this feeds into the man's mindset and his logic and the way that he's analyzing the information. He's gonna be thinking, what are my chances of her being interested in me? If she's sitting on this phone and she looks really disconnected from everything that's going on, the chances of me coming up to her and her being interested in me is probably slim to none, because she probably would rather be somewhere else doing something else. Even though I know for some of you, you're thinking, Tomisin, I just get on my phone because I feel awkward sometimes, or I had to check something, or I had to text someone. I know it might not necessarily be because you're disinterested. I just want you to understand how the men are receiving that when they're calculating in their mind whether or not you're likely interested or disinterested. Just like the billboard of the face, and just like the energy that overall you can be giving to a man just by the way you're sitting, the way you're smiling, the way you're looking, all of that information he's taking in and determining what are his chances of approaching you and being successful versus being unsuccessful. So we want to make sure we're adding all of these together to give him the right signal that yes, you will have success if you come and approach me. I like to be here. I'm enjoying my time here. I'm happy here. This environment is fun for me. I want to be here. So I would love to talk to new people and have new conversations. All of that information you want to be subconsciously sending and giving to him. If you're scrolling on that phone, even though it might feel comfortable and it might get you out of an awkward situation, he's going to be less likely to think he'll be successful in approaching you. Number 6 is about proximity. Never underestimate the power of being close to a man. The closer you are to him, the less of an emotional journey he feels like he has to take in order to have that opening conversation. Let's say you're at this club or bar and you see the guy that you want to approach you, okay? You'd never approach a man. You now want to give him the easiest opportunity to say hello to you or strike this conversation by closing the gap between you guys. If you're at this club or bar and you see him at the bar, just hanging around, chilling around, you make your way over to the bar area and you don't have to get a drink, just ask for a glass of water. Now there you can strategically put yourself in his proximity and be like right next to him, in his vicinity, to the point where he's like, oh, that girl that I was sharing a look with this entire time, that I've already shared 3 looks with, is now right next to me getting a glass of water. This is my chance. This is how guys are processing the information. Oh my God, she's right there. This is my opportunity to say something. And then he'll try to give him some time, because now he's thinking, what do I say? Do I say something corny? Do I say something cool? Do I say, oh, I saw you looking at me? Like, he's gonna be trying to process the first thing he should say. Some guys, they get a little bit nervous. So linger there for a little bit so that he can think of what he's gonna say, how he's gonna make it sound cool, and all that other stuff. So proximity is a really key element of that. If you're too far away from him, he's gonna start thinking, oh, okay, if I walk over there, what if she moves? What if she goes somewhere else? What if she's not looking in my direction, right? I know all of these things sound very irrational for a guy to be thinking, but this is how guys are processing information. When you're right next to him, especially when you can couple that with the other things that we talked about, like the eye contact, giving him that second, that third, that even fourth look, that it's like, oh no, she's definitely looking at me. By the time you can do that and then get in close proximity to him, now he's like, oh no, definitely she did this on purpose. I don't know for sure, but I know in my heart she must have done this on purpose, because we were sharing a look before and now she's here. This is my chance. You want men to feel like, this is my chance. I'm getting the signs. It's definitely this. She definitely wants me. For point number 7, we're going to discuss vibes. I want you to go out with your girlfriends, the ones that make you feel comfortable, that give you the right vibe, that make you feel happy, that take you over the moon. But there will be a grave mistake made here if you're not careful. Has there ever been a time where you've went out somewhere, whether it be the gym, the club, the bar, a work event, wherever it is that you went, and you saw a guy that you found interesting and you were with your girlfriends, and you told your girlfriends, hey, by the way, I think this guy is super cute. In fact, he's super sexy. This might be one of the hottest guys I've ever seen in my life. You know I love those dark, tall, handsome men with a clean fade. Oh my God, his teeth are so white. And when you said that to your friend, the entire rest of the night, they're like, oh my God, you gotta go talk to him. Say something to him. Oh my God, you want me to go up to him for you? I can say something to him. And your friend is like creeping up to him, like looking at him, like waving him down, like, hey, come over here, right? Have you ever felt immense pressure where you've went out and you've told one of your girlfriends about the guy you find cute, and then all of a sudden you have so much pressure on you to talk to this guy that you actually don't end up talking to the guy, or you don't want to talk to the guy because the amount of pressure that's being put on you? The reason I ask this question is because this is something, it will throw off your vibe and it will mess a lot of things up. When you want a man to approach you, the worst thing you can ever do is tell any of your girlfriends about it. When you're trying to do your strategy to maneuver around and get this man to approach you, you do not want your friends to add pressure to you. It will throw you off. It'll throw off your vibes, as the kids say. It'll start making you feel very awkward and very shy. The reason I drew this out is because I literally want you to think in a visual sense here. If there is more pressure being put on you to perform here, to get this guy to have a conversation with you because of how much you want to talk to him and you want to get to know him, the chances of you talking to him are slim to none. They are one in the same. As one goes up, the other goes down. As another goes up, the other goes down. The reason I want you to understand this very important part about vibes, your whole entire energy and vibe will be thrown off if you feel so much immense pressure to have a conversation with the guy or get a guy to talk to you that you don't know what to do now. When you want to look at him, you don't want to look at him because you're embarrassed that maybe he won't look at you or maybe he won't come up to you. You're putting so much unnecessary pressure on yourself to perform now that it's going to make it impossible to perform. You need to be in receiving energy. You're unbothered from the standpoint of you're here enjoying yourself. If that guy, after you give him his signals, decides he wants to come up to you, then he comes up to you. If he doesn't, it's going to be his loss. But when you put that pressure on yourself by telling your girlfriends about it and telling them how, oh my God, this is the hottest guy I've ever seen, you start to make yourself feel like you have to be in hunter mode, because you start to feel like, well, now if we're about to leave or if he's about to walk away, now I'm going to look like Boo Boo the Fool. I'm the one missing out on the guy. So what does that lead you to do? It starts to put you in hunter mode where you're thinking, well, I need to approach him. I need to ask for his number. What if he doesn't ask for my number, Tomisin? Oh my God, that'll be so embarrassing because I'll go back to my girlfriends and then they'll realize the guy wasn't interested. Don't do that to yourself. You will mess up everything that we're trying to do here in terms of getting this guy to approach you. As soon as you walk into that room and you see that guy that you think is the hottest guy you've ever seen in your entire life, and you would spread your legs wide open for him, shh, you hush your mouth. You don't say a word. If your friends ask you, oh, I seen you looking at that guy, you think, oh, no, it's nothing. I don't even know who that is. Who is that? Your friends will sabotage you. They will hype you up so much that the whole entire night will become you talking to him. And I promise you, in that sense, you won't even have a conversation. And God forbid, you have one of those friends that will go up to the guy and say, my friend thinks you're cute. If you have one of those friends, get rid of them. Because as a man, when I go out and I have a girl come up to me and say, my friend thinks you're cute, immediately I'm thinking, I'm never taking that girl serious. Because for your friend to be coming up to me, it just makes you look like she's car salesmaning you. If your friend has to sell me on you, I don't want you. And that's how men process information. Do they put Dior on sale? No. Do they say, please come and buy my Louis Vuitton bag? Please come and buy my Chanel bag. It's 50%. No. Don't allow your friends to sabotage you and do that. If she notices that you're looking at a guy, you just pretend like you're not looking at the guy. Okay, so that she's not pressed to go up and do that. And I really, really mean that. Point number 8 is about motion. You know how the kids say you should have motion? That's what you need to have whenever you go out and you see a guy that you're interested in. You need to have motion. Now, I'm not talking about moving in the sense of just being in random places. This is where you get strategic about crossing his eyesight, because the more you can cross his eye line, that's always an opportunity for him to stop you. If you're at a club or a bar or a party, whatever the case may be, and let's say he's on this side of the wall and you're on this side of the room here, okay? So this is you. Take a strategic stroll to the bathroom, knowing that as you take that strategic stroll, you take that opportunity strategically to cross his eye line, especially if Previous to that, you've been sharing a couple of looks across the room. Now you've established that you're interested in him. You smiled at him. You've shared a little bit of energy. You can feel a little bit of a vibe here. Now, this is a perfect opportunity to use your motion to actually cross his eye line. It's kind of also an example of the proximity effect. But now that you actually cross his path and then give him a look, oh boy, this will be so powerful. Because if you guys have shared looks beforehand, and then now you're actually crossing his path and it's like, I'm looking at you now as I'm crossing your path directly at you. There's no confusion here. It's like a magnet. Because as a man, you feel like it's now or never. And I've had this happen to me as well, where a girl that I've been looking at, she's been looking at me, she'll cross paths with me, and then she'll look at me right before she's like about to walk by. And it's like, no, I have to stop you now. Now, come here. We gonna have a conversation. You were staring at me from over there. Now you walking by me, you looking at, and also you have to also factor in, right? He's probably with his guy friends. His guy friends are also taking in information. You're an attractive woman, so they're seeing you walk by. They're also noticing that as you're walking by, you're looking directly at him. So they're like, you stop her, bro. It's crazy because you walk by and he doesn't stop you. His friends noticing that you're looking directly at him will make them say, bro, when she walks, stop her. What are you doing? Why would you let her walk by? She's obviously then he'll be like, oh, bro, she was looking at me. Oh, yeah, she was looking at me. So all of this is good, positive information. Now, you can only get here if you have motion. If you're too static, it'll make it too hard to get to you. It'll create a barrier in between you guys, okay? Even in a psychological sense. All of these signals that you can give will always just stack on top of each other and make it so that he's like, nah, I definitely gotta say something. For point number 9, we're gonna discuss positioning. We just talked about motion and having motion and being strategic with your motion as you're going across the room. In positioning, you also wanna factor in how possible or impossible is it to even spot you in the position that you're in. There's a couple of really easy mistakes to make. You might go into a room or into an event and have your back turned to the crowd. That obviously is gonna make it hard to see your beautiful, lethal face card. And obviously that's gonna kind of hinder and put a wall between your guys' ability to connect energetically. Another one of these things is if you're on the smaller side, right? Because some of you are petite. Obviously in a crowd, it's harder to see people. So you wanna kind of position yourself in the room, either in a way where you can be elevated, you wanna stand on a couch, you wanna be in a place that's elevated, or just be in a place where you're not so surrounded by super tall people that will hide you. Or you can be strategic in the sense that if you're short, find a way where you can position yourself so that through the space of people, you can still see your guy. Easy mistake to make. You're thinking about the guy, but you're not realizing he can't even see you. You might have saw him at a glance, but like now you're short, now people are crowding you, and there's no way for him to connect with you, get eye contact with you, or notice you. Maybe if he didn't notice you when you noticed him. Very, very easy mistakes to make. All of these type of things, it's putting up that emotional wall, that psychological wall. If he can't see you, or it's hard to get an eyesight or an eye line on you on what you're doing to get out your vibe or understand what your vibe is, understand if he should approach you, it's only gonna make it harder and it's gonna make the process more painful for him. We wanna lay out the groundwork so that the environment is as easy as possible for him to approach you. Clear that space or position yourself in a different part of the room where there's at least space between people where you can still see him and get an eyesight on him, all right? If you have to start, see, this is why motion is important. If you have to start changing your position throughout the time that you're there so that you can continuously see him and he can continuously see you, that will be ideal. It sounds like a game, but it is a game. If you want to get good at getting guys to approach you, especially the guy that you want, you have to understand how to strategize. That's why, and I'll be honest with you, going out and getting blackout drunk is probably not going to help you strategize properly, because when you're blackout drunk, you won't be able to process all this information and to be thinking about how all of this works together. For point number 10, did you see that? This is my personal pro tip to you that I use in my own real life that I don't want you to tell anyone else about because it works very well. Whenever you go out, especially if you're going out to a club, a bar, even an event, there will always be silly things that happen throughout the night. Always. I guarantee you. You go on a night out, there'll be some goofy people, some weird people, some strange people. You'll see characters. When you're out and you've identified the guy that you're interested in, and you've been sharing some looks with him throughout this time, and you're trying to think of a way to kind of break the ice or whatever the case may be, one of the things that I like to do is as long as I'm keeping that person in my eyesight, in my eye line, and keeping some close proximity to them, usually at some point in the night, there will be like a goofy event. Someone's gonna have a drunk fall. Someone's gonna be like really weird, really loud, really obnoxious, do something super stupid. Okay, it always happens like clockwork. Then if you're in close proximity to that guy and you've been doing your job of sharing looks and things like that, you use this as a moment to connect with him. When you see that person have the drunk fall. So for example, you're at a bar, you've been looking at this guy back and forth, you're in close proximity to him. He's not so far from you, maybe like 10 feet or so from you. Then come walking in between you guys is someone who's super drunk. They slip and they fall. Everyone sees them slip and fall. This is your opportunity. Don't look at the person slipping and falling. Look at the guy you're interested in and use this opportunity to be like, oh my God, did you see that? That's crazy. Because what I notice happens is a lot of times this can be like a really mutual way to just automatically start having a conversation, right? Oh my God, that guy's insane. Either one of you can say it, really. And it just becomes, oh my God, that was a crazy moment right here. And then now all of a sudden, oh no, I seen that guy. I was looking at him all night. Oh, by the way, what's your name? And it just flows. I'm telling you this because it works so well. And this random event, it always happens like clockwork, can become the icebreaker. Because remember, throughout this whole time, you guys have been sharing some looks. There's obviously some energy here. There's some chemistry here. So now that you guys are having this conversation, it's more natural because you're like, oh, this is the same guy I've been looking at. But now you guys get to address the drunk person falling instead of making it be like, hey, what's your name? I was looking at you. I think you're cute. And I promise you, if you can do this right, especially when this moment happens, you'll be like, okay, let me look at the guy. And whoa, oh, you seen that? Because he's more than likely, if he's in close proximity to you, gonna catch your eye line in the process of just kind of looking. I just saw that. Did anyone else see that? I'm telling you, some of you might think this sounds stupid or it's impossible or you don't know what I'm talking about. It does work. And it's a great, great icebreaker when you get this moment right. Because I've done it plenty of times and it works like clockwork.